We had
know
so
what
much
was
great
happening.
content that's not going to fit into one episode. So
We crossed the 45-minute threshold
we we
Oh,
we
I think a long time
we
ago.
long
we
time
passed
ago,
that.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we passed that a while
yeah.
ago.
This
Yeah, so
this
it'll
topic is
be
too big to try to fit in one.
right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll
Yo,
have
yo, real
part one,
talk.
part
We
two.
could sit.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Linguistic Show. I'm Carol,
This is Jason.
and today we are joined by Jay, and we're talking about music. So, Jay, take it away and just tell us about who you are so we can get to know you.
Sounds good. Sounds good. What's up, y'all? Thanks for having me on the show. My name is Jay Dong. I came to the States when I was 14 years old from China, mainland China. Live in the Bay Area, and maybe about 7 years ago, I moved to New Jersey. So living in a lot of different places. And since we talk about hip hop today, I feel like right off the bat, uh, growing up in the Bay Area, hip hop was a unique sort of a cultural dynamic and component to get introduced to at that young age, right? So it just quickly became part of my identity. And now that I'm a father of three, uh, I'm married to an African American queen. So in our house, we play a lot of different music, but mostly black music, right? So the kids, my son is really into hip hop these days, so we bond over that as well. So hip hop is not just something, just not music, but it's also a way of living. So it's part of what we do every single day, right?
Yeah,
So
I love
Yeah.
let's start there, right?
No, I feel you, and not just a part of what we do every single day, but growing up on the East Coast, I grew up on the East Coast. Everybody knows us, that knows me and Carol, knows that I grew up in the DC area. Born in
representing the
DC,
DMV and representing Maryland, not DC.
Raised in Maryland, like they say, born in the city, raised in the county, like Wale
Right.
say. And so I was exposed to that East Coast hip hop. And so being 43 years old, born in 1979, it was just a part of who I am. It grew up as I grew up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the main thing that you mentioned as it being part of like who we are, it's like it's not just the music, it's the fashion,
Yes.
it's the language, it's the,
Yeah.
the way we walk, the way
The
we interact
message.
with
Yeah.
people.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
And
all
The
it
that.
brings
message.
me back to one of the movies when I was a kid that I watched with my uncle that really, really got me into like lyrics.
Mhm.
And that
Yeah.
was Beat Street.
For sure.
Right.
For sure.
And
For
so
sure.
when I watched Beat Street, it was, you gotta remember, it's like hip hop has different levels. It's your lyrics, so your MCs, you
Mhm.
know what I mean? Your DJs, that's the beats, and then the graffiti writers
Mm-hmm.
and the B-boys.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Mm-hmm.
was, with those four levels, you had, what I'm saying, your fashion, your artistic expression, the beats, and the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
those four things has basically been kind of how I've lived my life ever since. It's crazy, but that's really how I live my life per se.
Yeah.
The major part of us being born in the early 80s and late 70s. And like for me and my dad, he is about to be 70 years old next year. And that man had us on hip hop since the 80s. I mean, he was a
Right.
DJ back in the 80s and 70s. He I'm still is now, but like the older generation, but like we grew up on music. I mean, that's all that I knew. So whether it was Rakim, whether it was Beastie Boys, there was so much to that I thought was like a normal childhood.
Right.
No, that
Right.
was
Right.
a
Right.
normal childhood. Don't take away from that. That was a normal
Okay,
childhood
you're
for
right.
us.
It's a normal child.
You know.
Like
You
we
know
had
what?
that in my household too, and it's ironic because growing up biracial, like especially in hip hop back then, it was kind of a stigma. It was like that's the black music, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
It wasn't mainstream. It wasn't embraced. Yeah.
it wasn't embraced yet.
Right.
Like,
Right.
and so ironically, around that time, I don't know if this was by choice or just who my father happened to be, but there was a whole lot of like that Fresh Prince vibe. Like that was the hip hop he listened to, the
Sure.
It
clean
was
cut
more
stuff that was
of a
radio
clean,
friendly and stuff
squeaky. It
like
was
that.
Right.
it
Right.
was happy
Like
hip
that
hop.
probably made my mom feel much more comfortable.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I
No,
mean?
I feel you. I feel you. You know,
You know
it
what I
it's
mean?
it's interesting.
Back then, you know, you had stuff that was like edgy back then. You had some gangster stuff that was out in like the late 80s, but you know, it was a lot more commercial, a lot more like universally accepted. And that was like our intro, me and my brother, that was our intro into it. And then me, like personally, I have a thing for the beats. Like I love the beats and I love lyricism. And so you know, that really is what drove me towards certain artists.
Right. No, that makes sense. And you know, I was you know, it gives me an opportunity to appreciate how folks live, you know, folks grew up here,
Yeah.
got introduced to it. You know, the first time I was introduced to any elements of hip hop, I wasn't even here. There was a cartoon in China that they had dubbed. That was MC Hammer cartoon.
Oh, I remember
So
that cartoon.
yeah, so that was like my first ever introduction to hip hop was via the cartoon. That was like
Wow.
the early, I would say 91, 92 maybe.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, there's nothing like this around here, right? Like in China back then, it's not the modern day China now where you have their own brand of Chinese hip hop. Like hip hop is everywhere, global, right? But back then, like anything like that, it's censored by the government. So like anything like that is like you only get a little dose of that, right? They got a lot of R&B, they got a lot of pop music. Michael Jackson was like just global,
He was
everywhere.
everywhere.
Everybody was listening to Off the Wall,
Mhm.
Bad, Dangerous album. You know what I mean? So that was like the dominant form. Like Whitney Houston was hot, like Mariah Carey, like those global pop stars that got international push, it was everywhere. But that little bit of a hip hop introduction that I got was the MC Hammer sort of, you know, cartoon. But when I came here, you know, we lived in Oakland, California, where it's like majority of the folks are black and brown, right? You go to school, like you can't escape that. And then when you come home, you turn on the TV. What they had was it's almost like a local MTV show called a CMC, which is California Music Channel. They just play music videos after school. So that's what kids did.
That's
They
like
just
how we
watched.
had the jukebox. We had
That's
jukebox.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. Right.
Music
So
videos raised me.
that's all you watch, right? Like so what we got in the Bay was Tupac, E40, Rapping Forte, Too Short, right? Like the Click, like all of that was right there. And King T, like all of that was right there. And I remember the first rap album that I bought, it was at Tower Records. That was Pac's All Eyes on Me, double CD. Right. So that's my introduction to hip hop, which is crazy, right? Because I didn't my childhood didn't have that. But think about like I'm turning 14 and I'm like listening to this music. Like this music is crazy. And a lot of things that I couldn't unpack as a new immigrant.
Right, yeah.
Right. Or didn't have the context to learn what that is. But the energy, the sound, the feel that you get from that. And now as you start to unpack this, you know, bits by bits, and you going to school with all black and brown kids. And then back then, like still like Asian representation in the media is very slim. You don't see many roles that you can connect with. But through hip hop, a lot of Asian kids found themselves. So hip hop to us, to the Asian kids or to other minority kids who embrace this art form, isn't just music. This was the therapeutic. This was a way for us to find our identity.
Wow.
Right? Because think about it, like who was rocking with Asian kids back then? The Wu-Tang Clan. They made it popping, right? So now it's like think about like Asians in America traditionally have been marginalized in the way that's like in terms of not having enough representation because our numbers are small to begin with.
Right.
So we're the unseen, we're the so-called model minority, which is do the work, we just don't cause any trouble type of thing, right? So how do we then find good role models or platform to basically build ourselves, to make ourselves feel like we are valued and important? How do we express ourselves? And through hip hop, many young Asian American kids got that therapeutic element. They feel like they could connect with America through hip hop, and that's why it's so important.
Right.
You see,
that is eye-opening. I would have never even thought about it. You are coming here from another country, like you don't know the culture, but like hip hop, it drew you in, and so we
That's
never
our
thought about
lens
that.
to understand America, like, because that's what access we had, and that spoke to us, and we understand, okay, we're marginalized too, just like black people are, brown people
Yeah.
are. We're in the same boat. Let's share our ingredients,
Mhm.
right? So that really, I think there's a lot of unity being formed, a collaboration being formed based on the shared love of culture, shared love of music, food, right? So once a lot of kids saw, like, Wu-Tang was rocking with us, like, made a lot of kung fu flicks are huge in the black community, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's huge. So that cross cultural exchange
Mhm.
really really made like this solid bond between the Asians and the blacks, in my opinion,
Absolutely.
in my
Yeah,
experience.
yeah. I mean that explains like a whole lot that I would have never even thought about in terms of just like that the connection between Asian culture and then hip hop slash
That we could go even a
Black
little
culture.
deeper than that. Like
Mhm.
like the reason why certain Japanese manga or animation like Dragon Ball Z is so
Yeah.
popular
Mhm.
for black kids is
Mhm.
because they see themselves as these characters that never bow down. They don't give up. They lose a fight, they get back up, they continue to fight. And they
Man.
rally, an entire community to fight against this villain or whatever. So
Whatever the
Right.
dude that show up this week and we got to
that's
fight him. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it. That's it. So there's a lot of, like, you see the cultural themes. It's about resistance
Yeah.
Hmm.
and counterculture, right? Like, let us have a platform to voice our opinions and voice our experiences so that we can be seen and heard.
Yo, you
So
hit the nail
You
on
are
the head
teaching
and
me
the
right
fact
now.
that
I'm learning a lot.
I'm sorry, Carol.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
hey Jay, you hit the nail on the head. And the fact that you say that your first album that really affected you was All Eyes on Me,
oh man, can you, like,
bro,
it's crazy. It's crazy. Like,
that's like a top 5 album of all time.
it's the
One of the
you don't have to skip anything on that album.
nothing, and it's a double
Crazy.
CD.
It's crazy.
And so that was when Pac really had started. He was on that thug life stuff, but he really started
Right,
to go mainstream. Like, I'm for the whole everything.
right,
So
right.
that's ironic that was your first introduction into it.
First,
Whereas for me, growing up in the DC area, DC is not quite New York, not
right,
quite
right.
down south,
Yeah, yeah,
not quite West Coast.
right.
We had our own kind of vibe, and now you're starting to see a lot more DMV artists come up. But
Mm-hmm.
back in the day,
Wale.
we were really on that West Coast stuff because
Mm-hmm.
it was the closest to the vibes that we felt.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you would hear like West Coast hip hop, they would talk about repping for their street and they block and they hood and things like that. That was the
Mm-hmm.
closest to what we felt in the DMV, repping for our little hoods and our crews and our blocks. Like when we
Mm-hmm.
went to the Go Go's. So
Mm-hmm.
like the West Coast hip hop was much more popular in the area than East Coast hip hop was back
Yeah,
in the 90s, as I remember in high school. But personally, I just gravitated towards lyricists.
yeah,
I
yeah.
personally gravitated towards lyricists. So when you mentioned Wu Tang, that automatically hit a
It's
thing for
it's
me.
crazy.
I was like, bro, man,
Yeah,
what? I
yeah,
was so into that whole vibe. I was that kid who was up at 3 in the morning watching kung fu movies. So
yeah.
when Wu Tang started to like really integrate that into their music, into like their interludes and the stuff, then it was in the songs and the way that they named their character, bro.
You
I
know
was
what's
hooked. I was hooked.
yeah, yeah, man. I'm sure you all checked out that Hulu series, which is like,
Oh
Oh my gosh,
man,
yes. I was
right?
yes.
It's just, it's I can't wait till like the whole season wrap up and rewatch the whole thing. Like,
And right, watch the whole thing from the
it
beginning,
just
right?
gave you so much, right? So much.
One of the things that really drawn me in, specifically the Wu-Tang Clan, like I said before, I love lyricists.
Yeah.
So the vocabulary was what
Oh,
drew me in. It was the vocabulary. Like we were talking about before, we were talking about Inspector Deck. I bomb atomically. Like, first of all, your first line rhymes twice.
mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm,
didn't even do anything yet, and your
mm-hmm,
first line rhymes twice,
mm-hmm.
automatically. And then he says Socrates, and
Yes,
the next line, he rhymes three
yes,
more times
yes.
in the next line.
The
Like,
wordplay is crazy.
Socrates could with the bruh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a headache thinking about it. And it's just like what for me, that's what drew me in as I was the kid who was I was a little smarter. I was a little bit, you know, I like English class. Like I like that stuff.
You no,
Yeah,
stop.
you were
You
literal.
love philosophy, sir. So
No,
You like
that's true.
literature.
That's
this
true. I
whole
love
like
philosophy,
lyrics
Yeah.
is
English,
possible.
like
Literature, man.
This is
history,
who
like
you are.
literature. Like that's my vibes, right?
Yes.
That's my vibes. And so when Wu-Tang came out, it wasn't just Wu-Tang. There was a few lyricists out. Like remember Cannabis?
Mm-hmm.
There was
Yeah,
a few
Sam from
lyricists
knockout.
that
Yeah,
there
yeah,
was a few lyricists out that was like, yo, we're all lyricists. But
yeah.
when Wu Tang came out and said, yo, not only are we all lyricists, but we're all lyricists with our own vibe, and we're giving you that whole kung fu movie shit.
Yeah, there was no group that's that dynamic, bro.
Nobody was that dynamic.
And each of them had own solo deals,
Mm-hmm.
and most of them reached stardom like never before. Like, look at Ghostface Killer, look at Raekwon, Method Man, Jizza,
Ghost.
RZA.
Yeah,
Like, what?
it's
Ooh.
Ghost for me. So like, yeah, like me and my one of my friends, we have this conversation a lot about who's the best in the Wu Tang.
Yeah,
Because I tend to lean towards Chef,
yeah,
and he tends to lean towards Ghost.
yeah. I mean, that's 1A, 1B, right? Like,
That's 1A and 1B, right? Like, what do we do? What do we
nah,
do, right? Because
it's
I
not
tend
even
to lean
fair.
towards Chef. I'm like, yo, listen to Quan. Listen to what Raekwon is saying. Like, Raekwon is coming from a place of like struggle. Listen to what he's saying. And then my man's be like, yo, listen to Ghost. Listen to the words he's using, bro.
You can't even.
To the metaphors and shit.
Yeah,
Like Ghost. Like, bruh, Wu-Tang is a whole nother thing for me. For
yeah,
me, Wu-Tang like made my high school years. My high
yeah.
school years was Wu-Tang and Go-Go.
Mm.
That was all I
Yes.
did.
Go
All I
is
did in high school
life.
was Wu-Tang, Go-Go, and football.
Mm.
That's all I did. All
Turn
throughout
your camera, Jason.
95,
Turn your camera a
96,
little bit.
All
97.
day, bro.
We could talk about them three, Big, Nas, J, for like hours.
Hours, hours. So much to unpack.
Bruh.
So
So
much to unpack.
Just
I-
Big influenced my lifestyle so much when I was in high school. Just Big. Listen to the Big, where he was like, "Fuck it, I'm fat and I'm ugly. I don't give a fuck. I spit the best
I'm
of
black.
everybody."
Fat and ugly as don't forget the black part too.
Like it's like I'm black, I'm fat, I'm ugly, and I
But
spit better than
he was getting the
everybody.
women
Right,
out, but he
right.
was getting the females.
Yeah,
He was getting them.
it's the
I don't know
confidence.
Getting them
how.
off. I'm
It's the
black, I'm fat,
confidence.
I'm
Yes, it's the
ugly, but I
confidence
It's the
in
confidence.
his whole vibe.
confidence.
Yeah,
Confidence.
Yeah.
yeah, man. Faith Evans, Little Kim, Charlie Baltimore,
Mm-hmm.
Bro, the
right?
whole
All-
commission.
And
all-
whoever else,
All
and whoever,
fighting over this man who's like
whoever else,
23 years
right?
old.
Yeah,
But
it's a lot.
So
It's a lot
much.
yes.
Yo,
on
so
on
like,
that culture, right?
I think about it a lot. Like it's funny, like I said, you mentioned growing up on the West Coast, but then you moved to Jersey, so you saw
Yeah.
both sides.
But see,
about
and
a
the crazy
lot.
thing is because like when I got introduced to this element, I loved it so much. I started going back, unpacking everything. I didn't
Yes.
just want to observe like and soak up what was happening in the Bay Area, but I quickly identified with LL Cool J, Nas, Capone Noriega, all that, the QB, the
Right.
Mobb Deep, all that, right?
Yes.
And then what was crazy is when Mos Def and Talib came out with the Black Star
The
album.
Black Star album.
That changed everything because
man.
that changed everything because it was like, okay, this conscious content is elevating your energy at a high level. And then and another album that was pivotal in my own sort of identity formation was Dead Press, Let's Get Free. That was like crazy concept to learn and get to. That was like freshman year in college, 1999, I think, yeah, or 2000, and from then on, I started listening to not just the popular, what was on the radio, but started digging into like really like the Roots, the entire Roots discography, you know, the De La Souls,
Yep.
and then,
Mm.
you know, all of that. So I had a trajectory that basically that went everywhere. First, you get introduced to Pac, and then you started seeing what Nas was doing, LL Cool J was doing. Then all that conscious rap had me just looking through a history book, looking through everything to try to soak it up, to understand all of that came in place.
And so, yo, as an adult, as a parent, do you feel good about the fact that your kids are into it?
It's what's crazy for me is that Nas King's Disease 3,
Yeah.
my son could not wait until that was dropped. As soon as he dropped, he's like, Dad, you gotta listen to the album. The fact that we ride in the car, he's 14. We ride in the car and we bump. You know, he like I'm not really into what he's listening to these days.
Because all that is like
Because I'm a purist, right? I'm a purist, but I don't knock him. Like, okay, like I can't knock you for your choice. But I'm happy that he recognizes like there are OGs, you know, in the game that need to be respected. And he listens to Pac music, he listens to Nas.
What you just described with your son, like, I'm so glad that my oldest daughter has inherited the hip hop gene.
Yeah.
From both of her parents. That was not just you.
Oh, I didn't say it was for me. Don't
because I gotta make it clear, because sometimes people be like, "Oh my gosh, you don't know Carol." I'm like, "Yeah, I do," because my sister is different than me.
Oh yeah, we're not gonna. I wasn't even gonna bring that up. I wasn't
musical vibes, but like me, hip hop was all that I knew growing up, you know, from the 80s and the 90s. So I probably should not have known all these lyrics at age 10, 11, 12, but
that part. I shouldn't have known how to whip up something. I shouldn't have been knowing how to mix crack at like 9 years old. Like I shouldn't have known how to do that.
Yeah, it's a lot of adult explicit content. Yeah.
Right, but so the fact that my oldest has such a reverence for the culture and really really respects the artists from the 90s in particular. Yeah. So like, we have 3 daughters. Anybody listen to us and watch is aware of our program knows we have 3 daughters. Yeah. We have one who's 15, one who's 13, and one who's 9. And so the 15-year-old eschews modern music almost altogether.
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to hear this crap.
She likes a couple of like R&B. She likes a couple singers. She likes a couple new artists, but altogether she's like, eh. She likes 90s and 2000s hip hop.
She's purist.
She's a purist, exactly.
Yeah. That's hard to come by for today's generation, man.
She likes lyricism. Like she likes when they actually have something good to say. And that just made me so proud. That was a proud dad moment. Like she could have scored 17 goals in a game and I would have been proud, is when she said she likes lyricism.
Yeah.
Oh my God, bro.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that I have, right? Like I'm not really hating on the kids these days, whatever choice they had, because it's generational. Like whatever they do. But like if you truly about this culture, really love it, then you got to study the whole history of it. Know where you came from.
Right.
Know, understood like what was the form that got to where y'all at today. Like you didn't just come up with trap music. You didn't just come up with all of this. There was a version that helped you evolve to that. Yeah. Like I think we're in the microwave era where people don't dig deep to understand, oh, this popular tune, it was a sample. Like there was music.
You don't get me started on samples,
like,
because I'm like, girls, this song, it's like,
they think it's new. They think
y'all. I'm like, no, this is a sample of so and so.
I got a perfect story for that. So I got a perfect story for that, because the same way you mentioned that, you gotta remember, like I'm 43. When I was in my early teens, was gangster rap.
Yeah.
Now my pops is black. My pops is black. My pops was in that whole 60s, 70s era. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine how it used to be when I would play Dre and Snoop and all that, like the original albums.
Yep.
He would be, that's not Parliament. Don't play that.
Right. That's not the Delphonics. Right.
He want to hear Parliament. He want to hear like the real stuff. He don't want to hear
not the Child Lights.
He wants the original artist.
Not the Isley Brothers.
Right. He don't want to hear us sampling that.
It's like my dad
it's
too.
ironic that it's come full circle now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and then you have a lot of these older artists now that are embracing it, right? Like
Mhm.
case in point, like Isley Brothers really work with all of these artists these days,
Yes.
right? The latest album's got Rick Ross on it, Two Chains on it, Quavo, like they really embracing that, right? So I think about that like, okay, if the creator of that original sound is embracing it, like we also shouldn't be too hard on the kids. You know, they
Mhm.
just kids growing up trying to find themselves. But we need to push them to encourage them to dig into crates to understand what just expose them to a larger collection of music and foundational knowledge.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
that's really, really missing.
Yeah, and you're right on that, Jane Jason. With the records and the sampling, but because like my dad was a D. Well, I'm saying was, or still is a DJ because he's loved
You from
music
them
for
old
his
folks.
entire life. From
He got the spinners on rotate right now.
well, well, that's his vibe now.
Right. I
But
ain't mad. All you need is a drop top, big body, and you can play that old school all
yeah,
day.
but
That's
Love it.
timeless. See,
Love it.
that's the distinguishing factor. It's timeless music that was created in the
Yes, sir.
analog age, right?
Yes,
yes,
sir.
The digital age is microwave
hmm
products.
It's
It
disposable.
may sound good today, but tomorrow you don't want to hear it again.
yeah, because it's gonna be like, what is this
It
nonsense?
doesn't have the soul that connects with
Hmm
you
There's a
to
time
tell a
frame
story.
when that happened, though.
Yeah,
There's a
sure did.
time
Like
frame when
maybe
that
like the
happened, and I feel like that
early
happened
2000s,
around that
probably.
whole Lil Jon era.
Yeah,
Shoot, because
maybe
Lil Jon was the
That
kid.
whole Lil
Crunk.
Jon, that whole crunk
the
era
crunk era.
became disposable.
Hmm
Because one of the artists I really do enjoy listening to, but he's fully disposable, is Ludacris.
Mm,
Ludacris was
I was
brilliant.
never a big
right.
Luda
He was
fan.
Luda was lyrically brilliant,
Luda could
but
spit.
he's
Luda really could
disposable.
spit.
He's
Yeah, Luda really could
disposable.
spit.
It's all punchlines.
He
Yeah.
he's so commercial though. I mean, he's
But that and
just
guess what
so
spawned what Luda
animated.
spawned
I
though? What did
mean,
Luda spawn?
you
Two
say
Chains.
But I think
oh,
yeah, what was happening was that they were representing that culture that was slept on, right? That
Yep.
the
Yep.
ATL, the
mhm,
southern culture, right? That was like, I mean, that's what Andre 3000 was trying to basically protest at the Source Awards back
Right.
in the days, right? Saying like, oh, the South got something to say about it, right? Because he felt like, like Outkast was a
yeah,
brilliant group,
Brilliant.
but they weren't getting
Brilliant.
their respect, and the whole Southern culture wasn't being really properly represented or embraced by the masses.
mhm,
Mm-hmm.
So, I think there's just different. To me, like hip hop is really reality, expression of a reality, and and I think it went through ebb and flows in terms of who gets who gets the camera, the lenses getting shine
mhm,
at the moment, right? And so that time, I think with Little John, Ludacris, Ti coming in, Two
mhm,
Chains coming in, Lil Wayne, right? That
Oh,
period of time that really elevated the South, like their stocks went up overnight.
mhm.
way up.
You're right.
Yeah. And then
Way up.
you look at today's rappers, like they could all be Little Wayne's sons.
Yeah,
In terms of the way Little Wayne
yeah,
pushed
you're right. In
the
terms
They
of
really
how
all
they
stole his
rap, how they
style. They really
dress,
all
their
took his
style. You're right.
style.
I
all
mean,
of that. Like Wayne
Him and
set the
Future,
trend.
they all took
Exactly.
his
Wayne and
style.
Future set the trend for all of these new rappers these days.
Right.
mhm.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what the next iteration is. But a lot of times culture and fashion, all of that, it's cyclical. It
Yeah,
goes back into style.
it's
So
all
I'm
been
hoping that the
cycle.
next iteration comes soon because we've been on this drill rap, this
But
New York, Chicago drill things for the last few, and I'm ready for the next iteration.
right, right.
I'm not a hater. I promised I wouldn't hate on nobody's
Yeah,
situation,
Right, because
but
yeah,
they
everyone's
don't have no
different.
lyrics, and I'm here for the lyrics.
yeah. And the beauty of it is like, like you obviously that form is dominating the airways, but
Mhm.
at the same time,
Yeah.
we still have the stable of the J. Coles, the Kendricks,
Yeah.
We
right,
still have
right.
our underground artists.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you dig deep enough, there are plenty of great content, great hip hop that maybe don't get the shine to do, but if you really like that, just dig. Like this music is so accessible these days.
Mm-hmm.
You can you
Y'all be
can
that
find it.
grandma. in my 70s still cranking all of my 90s jams.
Yeah.
So
I will
it's
be
funny
that
you
girl.
said that, Jay, about how music is distributed now, because that's so much different from when we were younger.
Oh man, we was
When
cassettes,
when I
CDs.
was younger and really like, hip hop was my life.
Yeah,
And all I was doing was like going to get singles and tapes and
exactly.
freestyling. Like this is
Yeah,
what me and my boys did all the time.
yeah,
Like there was a different environment. We had to go, like you said, we had to go to Tower Records. We had to go to
Yeah.
Sam Goody and
Yeah.
go get the single. We
exactly,
had to go get
exactly.
a tape or a CD. We had to go get it. Nowadays, these kids could just Google somebody
That's it.
and look it
That's
up
it.
and then just
Apple Music, you
or
know,
yeah, Apple Music,
Spotify.
Yeah.
Spotify.
Yeah.
Like you don't
YouTube
even
too.
have to
You can see it
really
on
like the
YouTube for
way
that.
music is
It- it-
consumed nowadays.
and I give you another one, right? Back in the day, you waited for the release so you go get the booklet. You read about the booklet, the
On that
art,
Friday.
on the art, right? That physical piece, like that made it special.
Yes.
These days, there's none of that. Like there's picture
None of
online, that's it. Like there's nothing that went into that.
And I feel like that I feel like the record labels know that, and that's why the artists aren't as skilled lyrically as they used to be. The beats are on another level.
Oh, it's
Let's
crazy.
if we really wanted to dissect it, the beats that's out now is better than anything we've ever heard.
Oh yeah. I mean, with the fact that you can leverage technology,
Yes.
make it so accessible, like you can make beats on your own.
The beats are better than anything we've ever heard. The music sounds better than anything we've ever heard growing up. It's just now there's no content to it. There's
Yeah.
no there's no
Well, you got to really dig deep if you want to find
flow
something
to
good.
it.
Right, right, right.
So that's my only downside to the new youngins. There's a few new youngins that are great, like you mentioned Cole, and we saying Cole and Kendrick. Like nowadays, our kids will look at them like they're
Like they
throwback
old.
artists.
Yeah, exactly.
Like these
Yeah,
Bama's been out 10 years, and we act like
exactly.
they're a throwback artist.
Exactly. They treat Nas like we look at Big Daddy Kane or Coogee Rap. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Like
there's a reason for that one, sir, because
yeah.
Nas has been out since we were like
Because we were like
90,
12 or
92,
11.
93, live at a barbecue.
Yes, yes, and
Woo!
that was
You know what I mean?
we
You,
were 12
and see,
I
Carol,
get,
so I'm a pause.
yeah, we got to talk about.
That's when you insert the audio from the Nas Live in the Barbecue freestyle right there. That's when you insert it. That's why I gave you the pause. So when you do your edit, that's when you insert that audio.
Yeah.
Oh, Nas killed it. Jesus Christ. Did Nas
Man, let me give you something about Nas, right? Like my affinity for Nas really started when I was walking to school. Like this is 95 and I'm walking to school. And you know how like urban areas like on the bus on the like the chairs at the bus stop,
it had the ads and stuff?
posters of Nas's new album,
Okay.
right?
So you talking about it was written.
It was
you
written.
talking about it was written because
It was,
I mean not it was written. You talking about the second one. No, it was written. You're not Illmatic. You talking about it was written.
Let me just quickly Google that real quick.
Illmatic was like 95, 94 ish.
Let's pause real quick. Let's pause.
It was written was his sequel, the second album.
It was written. It was released 1996, so it was that.
Yeah.
Illmatic was 1994.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, what is this? I gotta find it. I gotta listen to it. Right. And then they play, you know, the joint with Lauryn Hill, If I Rule the World, right? Which is like one of his most commercially successful record of all times.
That's our daughter's
right. That was like everywhere. I was like, wow, what is this, right? And then you go into the because back then it was like the East Coast West Coast beef, like
that's true.
So-called beef, like artists really like maybe the industry and the media really pumped that up.
That was for the industry, yeah.
Yeah, like you know, I'm sure they have differences and things like that, but people really squashed it when they're part of the culture. Like the media and the industry really pumped that beef.
Yeah, right? we can act like people weren't on the same albums, but like Meth and Redman were on Tupac's album.
Sure.
Like come on, like Corrupt and Daz and them was on.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Like we know.
Nah, yeah, I think it was yeah. So well. I saw that album cover and then I was like, okay, I gotta find out what Nas is all about. So I started digging into Nas and all of that, and it quickly became one of my favorite MCs of all times.
Yes.
And fast forward, this was the night that I sort of said goodbye to my grandfather, who just had a stroke in the hospital, and he never woke up after that. This was I want to say 94, like late 94. No, I'm sorry, 2004. In November 2004, and I said goodbye to him in the hospital. Me and my wife went to Nas' 20-year anniversary of the Illmatic concert in Oakland.
Word.
At the Fox Theater, and it was the best concert I've ever been to.
War is necessary, war brings pain, but war is necessary, war brings peace, because war is necessary.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah, because he was showing this documentary on Illmatic first before he jumped in his set. And the defining moment that I remember was Nas bringing out Jungle, his brother, to do one mic on stage. And he was talking about how Jungle actually wrote parts of that song and gave birth to one mic. And it was, I was just having chills the entire night. You know, so that was like being able to see your favorite artist.
Right.
And celebrating the 20-year release of Illmatic, which is one of the most significant like hip hop album of all time. All times. Like it was just like, okay, like, yo, like even if I don't go see another concert, another artist, I'm good.
You were
like,
set off.
You know what's crazy about Illmatic being one of the illest albums of all time? It's only 10 tracks.
And you don't need more than that. Like
you don't need more than that, and no skips.
No, this is it, man. This is it. This is it. And he had a version with at the Kennedy Center with the live orchestra.
Yes.
Yeah, that joint sold out.
Yes,
so
it sold out before we. Yes.
I was trying to go with
you. Tried to go.
Yo, it is amazing.
That was history. I mean, to have artists like that at the Kennedy Center last year, actually.
We tried to go. I remember it sold out like that.
But there's a whole series as well on just hip hop in America. They had small shows there last year, big shows. We actually went. It was a whole women in hip hop show.
Wait a minute. It was
okay. It was MC Light
at Kennedy Center.
Yo. Queen Latifah was on video, but I mean, I'm just like,
that's awesome.
It was basically everybody but Shantae.
Yeah. Now she has, of course, that dope series at XM radio show.
Lyrics like Roxanne Shantae to this day.
Oh, she's not to be played with. She's not to be played with, man. She is not to be played with. And it's crazy. Like we having this talk right now, and it just reminded me. It's 50 years of hip hop.
Yes.
50.
This is crazy.
I was gonna bring that up too. Yeah.